Hello, this is Corinne Sutherland of Sweet and Sassy Stamps. I'm going to be showing you how to make a watercolor sort of a technique with a solid image, like a silhouette stamp. This is called Wildflowers. It was just released May 1st. We're going to use markers and water and to make a watercolor effect to make this card right here. Okay, first thing we're going to do, I use water-based markers for this. I know, shocker of shocks, I'm not using Copics. These are actually my son's Crayola markers. I had to ask him if I could borrow them for this tutorial, so he was sweet enough to let me use them. I'm just going to color the petals of the flowers in the pink. You don't have to be real fancy, you don't have to be meticulous with this. You can just kind of do it fast even. This is a really quick card. I'm going to do the centers will be yellow, and I'm just going to do the rest green. All these leaves and things will just be green. Silhouette stamps are great because you can do all kinds of neat things with them. You can stamp them in solid colors if you want, and of course do just the black for a monochromatic type of a thing. But this is a fun way to add color to them. So I just colored them in with the water-based markers, and I'm going to take my water spray bottle and I'm just going to spray right over top. Okay, now it's all wet and you can see it's kind of beating up a little bit. That's what's going to give us the nice watercolor look. Take my piece of paper that I want to stamp on, and I'm just going to stamp right on there. And it kind of gives that neat, really neat watercolor look. Now I'm going to take my VersaFine Onyx Black. I really like VersaFine for my sentiments because it just gives you such a crisp image when you stamp it. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp that down here in the corner. There we go. And then I'm actually going to add some ribbon around the top before I put this on the card front. Now a lot of people don't know how to tie a bow without some help. So unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be much help to you because I can tie bows without any help and I have a hard time explaining it, but I want the bow to actually go kind of this slant, not this way, because of the way that the card is. I have the open space over here. So what I'm actually going to do is take my right side and flip over the left side, and then when I tie this it's going to lean sort of to the side, and then I just make my loops. I know this probably looks a lot harder than it is. I'm not used to doing it in this direction. I usually do it in the other direction, so I have to fluff this a little bit. And I always pull on my loops a few times until I get them the way I want them. Sometimes I want them smaller, sometimes I want them larger. And you know, to tighten it and everything, I always pull on them. Sometimes you have to move it around quite a bit. Now, I've got a little bit long of a tail here, and this one isn't quite the way the other bow was, but it'll work. I just keep messing around with it until I get it the way I want it to look. Now what you could do if you wanted to make sure it stayed put, you could you know, put a little glue dot in there but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave it. So that's my little bow. And then what I'm going to do for my card, I actually shaved the edges, distressed the edges with my scissors of the cardstock here. This is really a simple technique. If you don't have an edge distresser, you can just use your scissors. Just be very careful because you don't want to cut yourself. But I just hold my paper and then just kind of go back and forth, shaving the edges, and that gives a nice distressed look to it. I'm going to do that here with my green. And of course I have a little mess here, but we'll get that later. And then I'm going to do it with the pink as well. I think the distressed edges go nicely with the watercolor look, because it sort of looks a little bit messy, the watercolor, so it makes me think of sort of a distressed look, so I thought if we did this to the edges that would be kind of cool too. Sometimes you'll shave your edge off a little bit, or have a little cut, a little slit, but that's okay. You're just going to glue it all down anyway. Okay, I'm going to just put some adhesive on here and glue this down. And then here. And then I am a foam tape girl. I like dimension. So for this one I'm going to use some foam tape and just put it on the back of my image to adhere it to the card front. Some of my students laugh at me when I go to do classes and things, or if I go to a stamping event and I bring my huge thing of foam tape along. People think, how in the world do you ever use all that? Believe me, I do. I use it on everything. I love foam tape. Alright, so there's the card. Very quick, very easy, and yet very pretty. Alright, well thanks for visiting today. Again, the stamp set is called Wildflowers. It was just released May 1st. It sells for $11, and you can get that on our website, sweetandsassstamps.com. Thank you. Have a great day.